Hey guys, welcome to day one of Keto Together. Today we're going to make a sheet pan meal and it's going to be so easy. You're going to want to make these all the time because it's so simple. We're going to start with basically a sheet pan, and notice I'm using a sheet pan that's lined or rimmed. You want to have the rim sheet pan so that your veggies and things don't fall off, but you can really use any size depending on what you have. Now what I had on hand today were chicken thighs. So we're going to start with the chicken thighs, and basically what I want to do first, by the way, is just put a little sprinkle of oil, fat around the bottom. You can use bacon fat. I'm using olive oil because it's what I grabbed and the family doesn't mind it. And this is just to keep things from sticking. Now I have this lined with aluminum foil. You can line it with parchment paper, whatever you like to use, but you're just gonna scatter it around. And remember, this is a really basic recipe. You're gonna start with the meat. I've got chicken thighs. I've also got some bratwurst. You can use hot dogs if you have that on hand, or you can use sausages, if you had Italian sausages, whatever you have in your fridge. And if you don't have chicken thighs, chicken legs would work well for this. If you have chicken breasts, you're going to want to cut them relatively thin, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The idea is you want to make sure that everything cooks at the same time. Now these are boneless, skinless thighs. I don't usually buy boneless, skinless. I usually get the ones with the skin on them, but again, it was what I had on hand and what's available, and I'm going to use that chicken thigh to kind of spread the fat a little bit. I like to cook them down so that any fat that's on the back side will go into it, and you just want to put them around the pan. Whoops. Now this is a lot. There are, gosh, how many are in here? 6, I think. So this will make more than the guidelines I told you with the, let me see how much I have. Yeah, this will make more than the guidelines I had that I told you. So you may have fewer chicken thighs, or if you're only feeding 2 people, this could easily be 2 meals for you. Notice I'm flattening them out. You don't have to do that, but I'm doing it that way so that it'll cook a little faster. And I want to leave room for my vegetables near as well. So I'll slide those up. That one did not want to come out. Okay, let me scoot you around and put this one in. So notice I'm just putting them on the pan, right? We're going to come back and season these. So there we go. We have them laid out. Now for vegetables, so you do whatever meat you have, you put those out on your sheet pan. And then for vegetables, I went through to see what I had, and I had cabbage. I had part of an onion. I've got one little side zucchini that's starting to go bad. I had a red bell pepper. So I think what I'm going to do is put the bell pepper and the onion with the bratwurst, because I think that would taste really yummy. And then I had some sad looking broccoli that really needs to be used, and the same thing, just a little bit of cauliflower left. So roasted broccoli, if you haven't had it, is fantastic. So I'm going to put my roasted broccoli, or my broccoli, on there to roast. It doesn't matter if the broccoli and the chicken kind of commingle, it's okay. Now my oven is on 375, and so for these chicken thighs, it's going to take, well, it depends, but I'm probably going to let them go at least 25 to 30 minutes. And the broccoli is a nice thing to use because of the cook time, and that time it'll be nice and brown. Now, and I could throw in some of this cauliflower, and notice that cauliflower cooks about the same amount of time as broccoli, as long as I have the pieces about the same size. So I don't want to make them a lot bigger, but I can toss some cauliflower in there as well. And I'll do just a little bit more of that. Now, the other thing that you could do is let's talk about the seasonings that we're going to use on this one. You can simply put some salt and pepper, and quite honestly, it's really good, especially if you have like a nice fatty sauce to put in there. But let's talk a little bit about the different seasonings that you can use. And these veggies are a little crowded, so I'm going to scoot the chicken down one more time. Okay, I probably should have put this on 2 different sheet pans. There we go. Slide everybody down. My oven's ready for me. And I'm going to put the last of this cauliflower in there. I need to put a little more fat on it, not a ton, but a little more fat. With the vegetables, if you really want them to brown, you don't want to drown them too much in the olive oil. And like I said, I could have used the bacon fat with these. And I'm just going to toss them in there. And like I said, the broccoli and the cauliflower make a good pair, a good team. And David really likes the roasted cauliflower. In fact, he asked me to make that the other day when I was making cauli mash and twice-baked potatoes, or twice-baked cauliflower, which is like potatoes. Okay, so for the seasonings, this is something that I'm expecting the kids to eat. And so I could put this jerk seasoning on it, and David really likes that. But jerk seasoning is pretty spicy, so that may or may not be something that the kids would like. I could also put a Southwestern spin on this, and I could use my taco seasoning. That actually would be pretty tasty too. I can do it as an Italian thing with my onion powder, my garlic powder, my parsley, my basil. I thought I had some Italian seasoning up here, but I don't. Or I could just use plain seasoning salt. It doesn't have to be fancy. I could also go for a Southwestern flavor, like with my chili powder and with my cumin. That would be really nice too. But I think what I'm going to do, because my family really loves cumin on chicken, so I think what I'm going to do is start with a little salt. And so everything is going to get a sprinkle of salt. And I didn't put another little bit of fat on my veggies. Let me do that really quick. And I could just as easily spoon some bacon fat over it, but I'm going to do just a little more fat on there. And I'm going to toss it around just a little bit. And I hope you're getting the idea that this doesn't have to be any special way. We're just trying to find our seasonings that work. Okay, so I put salt on there. Let me put some salt on here. Yum. And like I said, my family loves cumin on chicken. So I'll do just a, oops, not that much. I'll do just a little bit of cumin. And the cumin does have kind of a Southwestern flavor, but we find that it's really good with garlic and with Italian seasoning. So if you haven't tried that, this is what I do with roasted chicken. I put just a little cumin, and there we go. And then I'm going to put a little bit of garlic, not a lot, because my husband's giving me mean eyes. He doesn't love garlic. Woo. Don't worry, honey, you'll never taste it. I'm gonna put a little garlic on the veggies, just a little. He's standing behind the camera giving me the eye, like I'll never eat that. Darn it, if he hadn't seen it. All right, I'm gonna give those a little bit of a twist because that garlic came out faster than I intended. It smells amazing. Doesn't it, honey? Okay, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of Italian seasoning. He's over there masking up so he doesn't have to smell it. A little bit of Italian, and I'm about to run out, so I'm gonna have to Amazon or something. We've been trying to stay out of the stores, but I'm about to run out of my Italian seasoning. And that's it. That's all you do to it. You can put another sprinkle of salt if you want, just to be on the safe side, but that is going into the oven at 375 degrees for an easy sheet pan meal. All right, so I don't know what you're making. I'm gonna make one more. I don't know what you're making, but post it on social media, #KetoTogether, because I can't wait to see what yummy creations you guys come up with. Who knows what kind of fantastic ideas that I will get from you. All right, bratwurst. This is a David favorite too. So let me take the bratwurst. Oops, I'm gonna put a little bacon fat. Again, I'm not sure, this is probably overkill, but I'm gonna put a little bacon fat just so nothing sticks to the pan. And this was bacon fat that I had rendered from bacon that we had baked. And I'm going to use one of the bratwursts to move this around. Now these are great grilled, but if you don't have that option of getting outside and grilling, this is really a great sheet pan meal. So get that bratwurst all around there so that the fat is spread out. I'm doing this so that I don't have to worry about washing my hands. And there are 6 in this package, no, 5 in this package. I didn't check the weight on these because remember our general guideline was to plan 4 to 5 ounces of protein at a minimum for the number of people that you're serving. So actually I'm going to move these guys to kind of like the center in here. And then I'm going to put the peppers and onion in here. Now what I've got is cold sausages with the bacon fat, and so it's making it cold, and that's why it's all sticking and looking kind of icky. All right, let me put that over there that had the raw chicken on it. Now, a couple things. I need to use up this zucchini because he's so pitiful. And the cabbage, I could make a slaw with it. I don't know, but it's starting to cry mercy. But I really think that the pepper and the zucchini and the onion would be perfect for this. So because this guy needs to be used up, I'm gonna do him. And honestly, I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna trim off this little bit that isn't looking so healthy. I'm gonna trim that up because I wanna use whatever we have on hand, right? So I'm gonna cut him in the middle like that instead of cutting rounds. And then I'm gonna cut these, I'm actually gonna cut them down the center again. And they're not really julienne, but they're fairly large pieces so that they will be substantial when these come out of the oven. And again, it'll take these about 20 to 25 minutes to cook. And so the zucchini won't be burned. Again, we're at 375. And it's not a lot of zucchini for anyone, as you can see. But by the time I put this in here with the pepper and onion, I think that it will be a nice portion. Because remember, zucchini is fairly low carb, peppers and onion are not. Now, as far as the onion, if I dice them, they're gonna get totally lost. If I quarter them, they're probably going to be too big. But I am gonna cut, and this is about half of a medium onion, I'm going to cut them in wedges like this. So I think that should be about perfect. And again, I'm gonna sprinkle them throughout, trying to keep them together. They're kind of falling apart on me. Again, not the freshest onion I've ever chopped. I'll do the same thing with this one, just cutting it in wedges, maybe a little bigger, so that it stays together. There we go. It's starting to smell really good. And sprinkle those around. And then the fat from the sausages will get in there too and help the veggies to cook. And then the bell pepper, I may not use the entire thing. I may try to save part of this red bell pepper for something else. I've already put half of an onion and 1 small zucchini, so we also have to watch the carbs. But this gorgeous bell pepper, let me put this guy in here. And piece of onion, he needs to go in the fire. Okay, and the same kind of thing, I'm gonna put these in fairly big pieces because I want them to roast, but I don't want them to get obliterated. And so the peppers and onion and the zucchini, I think will be nice together. David, you're giving me a look. Do you want more pepper than that? Is that the look? Yeah. I could see him was like, what is she doing? He wants more pepper than that. This is really more of a David dish than a kid dish. I don't know if the children will touch it. Grace might, but I don't think Jonathan will enjoy this. I'll put a little more pepper since that's his thing. And honestly, he would probably eat 2 peppers at a time.
2 sausages? 2
sausages at a time.
Yes.
2 sausages. So I might eat 1.5, so he might eat 2.5 if I eat 1.5. And then he would have 1 left over. And again, see how easy this is? Now, what kind of seasonings are we gonna put on this? I don't know that it requires a lot of seasoning because the brat worse. The sausages have so much flavor. So I think what I'm going to do with this is more salt and pepper, and you'll be amazed, maybe a little garlic or a little onion powder. You'll be amazed at how much flavor this has without a ton of seasoning. I could also just use the seasoning salt or add a touch of even chili powder. I think would be nice. Okay. Oh, and by the way, with the cabbage, if I was doing the cabbage, let me just tell you, I would chop it like this in little cabbage steaks and put it in there together. Make sure I drizzled it with oil so that the flavor was nice. So let's put a little fat. I'm going to put the bacon fat on there. I have a little bit of that left. And so just a little bit of that on the veggies. I don't have a ton. Thank you. I don't have a ton left of that. Okay, but that should be enough. And I just want to keep it from burning and give it a little fat. And let's put a little bit of onion powder on there. I know we've got onion in there, but I'm going to put a little onion powder because I think it sounds good. And that's probably all I'm going to put. I'll put a little garlic. How's that? Little bit of garlic. Not much. And then a little salt and pepper. And that's all we need to do for that. So here's my salt. And how easy is this? And again, I hate to even call it a recipe because you're picking your protein, you're picking whatever vegetables you can put in there, and you're picking the seasoning. Oh, and you've got a fat, you're picking a fat, and you're picking your seasoning. That's all there is to it. And the same kind of thing, let me put some pepper on here. The same kind of thing, this is going into the oven. And cook it as long as you need to. I'm saying 20 to 25 minutes. It depends on how thick those are. This may have to go more like 30 to 35 minutes. It depends on your vegetables and how thick those are. So there are a lot of things that can impact the bake time, whether you're using convection oven, altitude, all those things. So please share with me whatever you create, the flavors, the seasoning, your own creative ideas. You can go to my website, www.cookingketowithkristie, to get more information about Keto Together, and we're going to do 10 days of cooking keto together. Go to my website, my Facebook page, Simply Keto with Kristie Sullivan, to look for some Facebook Lives and more #Keto Together. You can also see it in my group or on my Instagram, which is Cooking Keto with Kristie. I hope that these 10 days of Keto Together are helpful to you and your family.